Somehow there's no sound. Patience, yeah, patience and determination. Thank you, Prabhu.
The following is a class on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, text number 1, given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in February 1972 in Los Angeles, California.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadasya Jatu Annaya Ditaratasarthi Avijñā Sarat Tini Brahma Rida Ja Adi Kavai Muhyanti Jas Suraya Teja Bari Midang Jatha Vinimayo Jatra Tisargam Mrisha Dhara Sena Sada Nirasta Kokang Sattang Param Dhimai. This is a prayer offered by Srila Vasudev before writing Srimad Bhagavatam. He offers his respectful obeisances to Bhagavate Vasudeva. Bhagavate means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Vasudeva. He appeared, Lord Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva. Therefore he is called Vasudeva. Another meaning is that he is all-pervading. Everywhere he is present. So Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin of everything. Janmadasya Jataha. Janma means creation. Creation of this material world, cosmic manifestation, is from Vasudeva. Janma Adi means creation, maintenance and annihilation. Anything in this material world has three features. It is created at a certain date. It exists for a certain number of years, and then it is dissolved or annihilated. That is called Janmadhyasya, Janma Sthiti law. So everything is taking place from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The cosmic manifestation is also emanating from Him. It is existing on His energy, external energy, or it is being maintained by His external energy. And as everything material dissolves ultimately or annihilates, so after annihilation, the power merges into Him. The power, the energy is extended from Him and maintained by His energy, and again when it is dissolved, it merges into Him. This is the way of creation, maintenance and dissolution. Now, the question is that the supreme power or the supreme source, what is the nature of that supreme source? Is it matter or living force? The Bhagavad says, no, it cannot be matter. From matter, nothing is created automatically. We have no such experience. Unless there is some living force behind the matter, there cannot be anything creation. We have no such experience. Just like anything material, suppose a motor car, it has got all the machine equipped, subtle machines, but still the motor car cannot move automatically. There must be a driver. And the driver is a living force. Therefore, the original source of everything must be a living force. This is the conclusion of Bhagavatam. And what kind of living force? That means he knows everything. Just like an expert motor mechanic, he knows everything. Therefore, he can detect when the motor car stops, he can immediately detect how the motor car has stopped. So he tightens one screw or does something so that it is again in motion. Therefore, in Bhagavad says that the original source of all emanation knows everything. Annayat itaratascha artheshu, directly and indirectly, is so expert. Just like I am the creator of this body. I am a living soul. As I desire, I have created this body. Energy, by my energy. According to my desire, I have produced this body. But although I am claiming my body, I do not know how the body is working. That is unknown to me. I cut my hair, but I do not know how the hair grows again. I cut my nails, but I do not know what is the function going on inside, so that even after cutting the nails and hairs, again it grows. Neither I do know I am eating, I know because I am eating something substantial, it is transforming into different types of secretion within my abdomen, and the secretion is distributed. I have known it from some medical practitioner or medical science, but so far I am concerned, I do not know how my foodstuff is transformed into blood, how the blood is transmitted in different parts of my body, and then I get again energy. Actually, I do not know. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He knows indirectly and directly both how this material cosmic manifestation is working. He knows everything. How the sun is rising, how the moon is rising, how the oceans are steady. It is not trespassing on the land. Such a big ocean, it can overflood immediately any city or any land within a second. But it is not doing that. So the direction is there. Therefore Bhagavad says that the original source of everything is sentient, conscious, and consciously is controlling everything. Annayat itaratascha artheshu avijñā. Avijñā means completely cognizant. The next question may be raised that where from he got the knowledge? He is the origin. Because we have got this idea that any living being
Okay, the format is we're hearing what Srila Prabhupada says, and then we're trying to repeat what we've heard from the spiritual master. Does anyone remember where Srila Prabhupada started?
He began by unpacking the name Vasudev as being all-pervading.
And Janma meaning creation.
Okay, so Srila Prabhupada makes the point that everything material emerges, endures, is maintained, and then is annihilated. There's an appearance, an endurance, and a disappearance. And how is this going on? What else did Srila Prabhupada say?
Along those lines, he mentions that we don't have any experience of something functioning without active consciousness.
Right. What examples does he give?
Something about the motor car.
A motor car, the machine is there, but there's an operator. Something must set the motor car, the machine in motion, a conscious living entity. That there's a distinction between matter and a living entity. So what point does he make about the similarity between the motor car and the rest of creation? Remember?
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
You want to say something?
Okay. I'm not sure specifically the point that you mentioned. You made the comparison to motor car and the creation, but you mentioned that the Supreme Source is all-knowing, and then he said, like the expert mechanic. If the car breaks down, then he just turns the screw and gets it to work again. And then he went on to compare it to the oceans. But yeah, there were lots of little bits.
Yeah, Prabhupada mentions the different features of the material world. The sun is coming up, the ocean is functioning, the plants are growing. And he said this is material creation, and logically behind the phenomena that we see is an intelligent designer who has created, maintained, and is responsible for this marvelous machine. Anything else Srila Prabhupada said? Can anybody remember?
He made the point of that we don't even understand how our own body works. And so that there has, he was saying that I cut my hair, I cut my toenails, I don't even know how my own body works, and that he's analogizing it to that there is a greater intelligence, it's not us.
Yeah, he says my hair is coming out, the nails are growing, digestion is going on, the blood is carrying the nutrition to different places and providing energy. But I don't know how that goes on. I don't understand it. I know it's happening, but there's some higher personality who has designed this, is aware of it, is maintaining it, setting in motion. He's making the point that this is not just that dead matter is different from a living entity, from a conscious person. Angel, do you want to say something?
We don't even know why, like, we know that we have to have sleep, but we don't even know exactly why we need sleep. It's just something that is part of it, he designed it that way.
There's a limit to our awareness. But there's a difference between a dead matter and a conscious living entity who is capable of setting the matter in motion. And then there's a distinction between a living entity like me and you and a higher, more intelligent personality, living entity. This existence is very simply logical, obvious, and irrefutable. Anything else Srila Prabhupada said? Jeffrey Echo, you're there?
He also said we create our, oh, sorry.
No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Jeffrey. I was going to say, he also said that we create our body by our desires.
Good point. Anyone else?
Jeffrey, you were going to say something?
No, I was just going to add that he said that that there's we eat and all these things happen on our abdomen, and then there's actually subsequent actions like secretion. Not only
We can't hear you.
He's in the car at first.
What about
sorry.
secretion, Jeffrey Prabhu?
He was basic. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just making the point that there are subsequent causes and effects from the actions that we take that we don't have control over within our own bodies. So like we eat, we goes into our abdomen, then there are other things that happen after that. And so it's not just a simple like I flip this switch and this wheel spins, but it's like this wheel spins and then this other wheel spins and then this whole other set of causes and effects are in play that we don't have any control over or any real understanding. So it's not just one action, it's like several causes and effects.
Very good. And Prabhupada is pointing to the fact that if we trace back this cause, this effect, this cause, this effect, this cause, there's an original cause. Just like this action has a cause, and that cause has a cause, and that sarva karna karnam, that Krishna is the cause of all causes. He's pointing to Krishna. The creation draws our attention to the creator. Anyone else? Uncle Bhima's here. You have a comment?
Krishna created Bhima. How wonderful is Krishna?
How wonderful is
You know, all things that happen in this world, like mistakes, are reflections of things that happen in the spiritual world. So sometimes Krishna creates something that he says, oops, and that's how I came to be. So that's, you know, even Krishna can make a mistake once in a while.
Ah, thank you. Anyone else? Something Prabhupada said?
Srila Prabhupada said that Krishna knows everything because he's the one who's behind it. That's how he knows it. He's the one who started this whole thing. This is how Krishna knows everything. It's not a magic trick. He knows everything because he started it.
It's not chaos. Not that material nature is independent. Behind every capacity, there is a enabler, a power, an intelligence, a personality, conscious living being. Okay, we're going on to the next phase, Srila Prabhupada's presentation.
he gets knowledge from others. Just like we have got our knowledge from our spiritual master. My disciples are getting knowledge from me. So their knowledge is also given by somebody. It has got a source. But if the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the origin, how he got this knowledge of creation, maintenance? The answer is Sarat. He did not get knowledge from anyone. He is self-sufficient himself in knowledge. That is the nature of God. He does not require to get knowledge from anyone superior, because nobody can be superior than God, neither equal to God. Asama urdha. Nobody is equal to him. Nobody is greater than him. Now we have got experience that the first creature, living creature within this universe is Lord Brahma. So he also got knowledge without any help of others, because he is the first living creature. So there was no other living creature. So how he got knowledge? So does it mean this original source is Lord Brahma? People may question. Now Bhagavad says no. He is the original creature of this universe. That's all right. But he is also a created being. Because the cosmic manifestation was created by God, the Supreme, and after this creation, Brahma was created. Therefore, he is a created being after the cosmic manifestation. And because God, or the Supreme Lord, he is the creator, so he is not one of the created beings. He creates, but he is not created. But Brahma is created. Therefore, he gets knowledge from the Supreme Creator, who is independent. Now, the process is just that we approach teacher, spiritual master, to get knowledge. So there was no visible living creature before Brahma. So how he got knowledge? The answer is Tene Brahma Rida Adikavi. Adikavi, the first created living being, Brahma, was educated from within the heart. That means Krishna, Vasudeva, or the Supreme Lord, is situated in everyone's heart. He is situated in Brahma's heart also. He is situated in your heart, my heart. And Hida, this very word is used. Hida means heart. So he can educate anyone within the heart. But why we are not aware of him? Theoretically we know, but practically in our conditioned state, we cannot understand how he is directing us. But he is directing, that's a fact. Brahma is not ordinary living being. Therefore, he could take direction from the Supreme Lord within the heart. We can also take when we are qualified, exactly like Brahma. Brahma appeared to serve the Lord, to fulfill the desire of the Lord. Just like we engage one carpenter and I ask him to make a cabinet for me. I give him the ingredients, tools, or wages, and he creates a cabinet. Similarly, God created the ingredients and the manufacturer also, and Brahma created this universe. But he is not the original creator. The original creator is Krishna. As such, the original proprietor is also Krishna, because he has created the ingredients. Actually, when we work in practical field, the ingredients we cannot create. We suppose we construct a very high skyscraper building, but the ingredients, namely the earth, stone, wood, iron, which are the ingredients of the house, that we cannot create. That is created by God. We simply transform. We take earth, dirt from the earth and mix it with water. The water is created by God. The earth is created by God. Then we mix it and make a lump like brick and put it in the fire. The fire is also created by God. In this way, if we study scrutinizingly, the ingredients and the materials which we are handling, they are not our creation. They are creation of God. We simply handle them. But because we handle them, it does not become our property. This is sense. Suppose I am worker, I am handling some others things, materials, and preparing something. That does not mean when the thing is manufactured, complete, it becomes my property. No. How it can be? Therefore the philosophy is that everything belongs to Krishna, God. I also belong to Him. And whatever I do, manufacture, that also belongs to Him. This sense, to understand that everything belongs to God, I also belong to God, my intelligence also belongs to God, the ingredients or physical elements with which I work, that also belongs to God. Then where is the scope for my claiming that I am proprietor? This is called illusion. So
Hey, Hare Krishna. Where does Srila Prabhupada start here?
Intelligence comes from the master?
Huh?
Intelligence comes from the master, or knowledge comes from the master, or
Right.
God?
The word is the source of the information that we receive. And the original person who was receiving that information was who?
Lord Brahma.
Brahma. He's not an ordinary being, Prabhupada says. And how did he get the information?
He was educated in the heart.
Yatini Brahma Hridaya Adhikavaye, that the Lord is giving Lord Brahma information, and he is passing it down through the disciplic succession. And that's how we learn. We receive from a higher source. Not just that we gathered a bunch of evidence and that's how we know things. And so once he makes the point that Brahma is the receptor of information, then what else does he say about Lord Brahma? What does he do?
He is created, not creator, although he does create with the empowerment.
Right, he's handling ingredients, but what is the source of the ingredients? What examples does Prabhupada give? Skyscraper building?
Building of skyscrapers.
Huh?
Skyscrapers.
Skyscraper. What does he say about skyscraper?
The builder can only build the skyscrapers, but he gets the ingredients like stones, mud, and everything from the Supreme. I mean, he doesn't create the ingredients.
Krishna provided the earth, Krishna provided the water, Krishna provided the fire to make the brick. And then we are handling them. We make a skyscraper, but who owns the skyscraper? Krishna.
Ultimately, God.
Yeah. The point is that since he's the one providing the ingredients, even though we're giving, he says, even the intelligence that we're given to manipulate these ingredients is coming from God. So everything ultimately belongs to Krishna and therefore can be used for Krishna's purpose. It's not just because I am handling ingredients that this belongs to me, because I didn't manifest those ingredients. It's a very interesting point. Everything belongs to Krishna, right? Anything else Srila Prabhupada said?
Yes, if I may, more or less at the very beginning of this part of the class, I heard Srila Prabhupada saying that the knowledge that Krishna has, he doesn't get it from any other source other than himself.
Very good. Very good.
Because he's self-sufficient in knowledge and not in any kind of knowledge. Because he is the Supreme, he is self-sufficient in supreme knowledge. And that is who God is. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Anything else?
And if I may, I have an objection when, not exactly an objection, just a comment which goes as follows. When you say that the owner of the skyscraper is Krishna, what the materialist could argue is that, okay, the ingredients belong to him. He gave us the intelligence to build, to manufacture the skyscraper, but still he didn't make it. The ones who were there building the skyscraper, it was us, not him. So in this sense, the building, the skyscraper belongs to me, not to him. How would you react to such an argument?
I took your money and I bought a house with it.
Go on.
Well, that's a really good point, and I don't have. There's others who can answer it much better, but it makes me kind of think like if I took money out of your bank account and then bought a house with it, it probably doesn't mean that it belongs to me. There is definitely some endeavor made on our ends, but those resources ultimately still belong to the person whom they came from. Also from a whole Chintavedaveda Tattva perspective, for all expansions of Krishna in one sense, still, even if you are the worker, it still ultimately belongs to Krishna. There's a few thoughts. I'm sure other can answer it better. Maybe Madan Gopal Prabhu has.
Also, the power to build the building itself is given to the jiva by the Lord.
So this, okay, go on. Go on.
Hare Krishna. Sometimes when we drive on the highway, say you're driving in the middle of the night and you see they've been doing some construction on the highway, and you see these very costly machines right on the street. These big like generators, and there's like a big bright lamp attached to it, and then there's even a bigger machine, and sometimes they have these like compressors. Very, very expensive machines. Some of the machines are $100,000, but they're right there on the street. Now, if I go there on the street with a truck and start loading them on my truck, hey, these are right out there for everybody. It's right on the street, so anybody can take them. No, just because they're available, just because they're on the street, doesn't mean I can claim them. I'll be put in jail. So just because I happen to be on earth and I have access and I can touch certain things and I can manipulate certain things, doesn't mean they belong to me. That's a gross misunderstanding of proprietorship. Just like the guy who thinks, hey, it's right on the road, I can just take it home, and use it for my own use. So similarly, whatever resources we have in the world that are available, accessible to us, we should recognize them to whom they belong. That's the Ishopanishad principle. So same way with this, the ignorant person will think, hey, it's right on the street, I can use it. But the knowledgeable person, even a kid, will say, hey, you can't touch that. It's a government, or that belongs to the corporation that's building these roads. So it's about waking up to who things belong.
And even to answer more to Vijay Krishna Prabhu, the people that were given they're working for the company, the highway patrol, they are allowed to utilize the things. They brought them there. They're still not theirs.
Right, but they can't take them home for their own parties. You can't take that lamp, to have your own party at home. You'll get in trouble for that.
Yeah, even if you drive that truck for hours, you can't say, but I've driven this truck so many miles. It's mine now. Can't say that.
Haribo.
Go on.
One part that we're not leaving out, but needs to be mentioned is that, yes, this equipment is available. Yes, these buildings are being made. Yes, these horses are surrounding me and on my land, but I'm responsible. We have to respond. We should view these things that we use, that we get from Krishna, all from the materials of the earth to the twitching of the muscle fibers in our body, which we play no role in except to desire to move, and then material nature does the work for us. That we are responsible to respond in kind to Krishna, that there's a reciprocation here. Krishna says, I give you this. I give you this horse. I give you this machine. Now, what are you going to do with it? Not that, oh, it's not mine, I must detach myself. No, we actually take ownership. We actually do have scope of responsible ownership. It's like when you have a son, a lot of things can be figured out, and I'll make this quick, that when you have a child, a daughter or son, and you give to them something, and they're not like, oh, well, that comes from you. That's not mine. I won't touch it. I won't maintain it. And there's sometimes I've seen it. I've had these thoughts in my head. Sometimes we say, well, it's all an illusion, or this isn't mine, or this is the material world, so I'm not going to be responsible. I'm not going to be an adult about this. I'm just going to simply live simply and neglect these things that Krishna has given us. And that would be, of course, like the bow that falls from Arjuna's hands on the battlefield. Krishna's like, hey, man, that's weak. Pick up the bow, you know? So we do have to understand that we do own it. We do own it. We own the responsibility to respond in kind for everything Krishna has given us, whether it be a horse or a spouse. We have to respond in kind with the love that came at us from Krishna to give it and share it amongst others. Haribo.
A little earlier in this class, can you hear me?
Yes.
A little earlier in this class, Srila Prabhupada makes the point that knowledge is given to Brahma within the heart, and the knowledge comes from the Lord. So this person is bringing up an opinion and presenting it as knowledge that I did the building, so therefore it's mine. So that's not what the Lord says. We can make up all kinds of speculative angles of vision and, and opinions. But what does Krishna say? Krishna says, Nirmama, Nirmama, nothing is mine. We are, the way Krishna described it is, we are the caretakers. We are the stewards of Krishna's property. They're not mine, but I'm taking care of it on Krishna's behalf. Therefore, the knowledge coming from Brahma says, therefore, it's appropriate that it be used for the Lord's purposes. So we can have one way of looking at things that we just make it up ourselves.
No problem. Everyone can hear.
We just make up ourselves what the reality is, or we can take knowledge from a perfect source, like Prabhupada explains here. The water comes from Krishna, the fire comes from Krishna, the earth comes from Krishna, our intelligence comes from Krishna, the ability of our body to function is directed by Krishna, not by me, and therefore the information about how to see this is also presented from the Lord through Brahma and scripture and Guru, the cyclic succession, and the knowledge, the real knowledge coming from Krishna is that I'm have the opportunity to take care of Krishna's property and use it for him. Anyway, that's what we heard from Prabhupada. Regards to Prabhupada.
If I ever build a skyscraper, I'll name it Near Mama, or a construction company. Near Mama Constructions.
What did he say? Because John Tar was speaking to me while he was speaking. Could you repeat that, please?
If I ever construct a skyscraper, I'll name it Near Mama.
That sounds like an excuse not to take responsibility for your shoddy workmanship.
Besides the fact that it's not mine, it's Krishna's.
Yes.
Nirmama is a good start, so we don't go down the wrong path of perception.
A startup company, Near Mama. Startup. But then,
Krishna's.
yeah, Krishna's.
Good to know what it's not, but also we want to know what it is.
Yes.
Krishna,
Yes.
to be used for Krishna's purpose. We are Krishna's to be used for Krishna's purpose. And that's how the knowledge comes down. And we can accept this perfect knowledge, or we can make up some other idea and see how that works out. Some other ridiculous idea.
Thank you, Adi Purusha Prabhu.
Where's the Prabhupada? Let's see, what time is it?
8:01.
8:01. So we're about to have the darshan of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Proprietor.
Shri Radha Murida Gaura Chandra Nisimha Bhagavan Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki.
He is my Lord, earth after birth, and from ecstatic craving, and fight the description is sing this character. Friend of the Lord and Master. Give us the shade of your mercy. Take shelter. Take shelter.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful class. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for participating. We can take some comments. Bhima Prabhu is here. He has all the answers.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Jeffrey Baba, go ahead.
I just have one quick thing that I noticed in Prabhupada speaking today is when he was talking about Brahma being educated in the heart, he talked about Krishna being in your heart and my heart. And very rarely do we hear Prabhupada refer to himself. But he said, my heart. And that phrase, just my heart, just really jumped out at me. We don't often hear Prabhupada talk about his physical body or his personal relationship with Krishna. So that just 2 seconds of the speech really kind of made the whole speech for me. I was latched onto that very much. So Hare Krishna and Jai Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
I was
Thank you,
also
Prabhu.
surprised when Prabhupada said that he received this knowledge from his teacher. And then he did say, and you're receiving this knowledge from me. I was also like, yeah, that's really sweet. He said, ultimately, it's coming from Krishna.
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada is a devotee. He's not an alien. He's a devotee. Krishna is in his heart. And he has a guru. And he's passing on the message without distortion. Min.
Yeah, thank you. I was wondering that Prabhupada said we don't understand how Paramatma is really directing us, but he is, and that we can understand him if we're qualified. And I'm wondering, I don't know if Adi Purusha is here now. I love how he always seems like in conversation with Prabhupada when we're in Afterglow. He would mention, oh, I asked Prabhupada how to respond, and he told me to say this. So I feel like that's sort of part of that hearing God or Prabhupada. I'm not sure if it's similar in his heart.
That's a dangerous pastime with me.
My question.
You gotta know whose voice is speaking.
So this is exactly my question. My mind seems like I've noticed that since I came to Krishna consciousness, that my mind is so clever and cunning that I can tell that it finds the subtlest way to subvert my consciousness. So how do we know who we are hearing?
Very good question, Min. Okay, who has the answer to that? Madam Gopal Prabhu is here. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
When you have a camera and you're trying to take a photograph, it's on a stand, right? It's on a stand. You put your camera or like your iPhone on a stand. It's called a tripod. So for anything to stand steadily, it needs 3 legs minimum. For any like say stool, step stools, you need 3 legs minimum. You can't have 2-legged tripod. Then that's the definition of tripod. The tri means 3. So for anything stable, you need a 3-point check. So similarly, we've been taught this many times, that to confirm the veracity or the truthiness of something is you have to do the 3-point check. So even if you feel that this is something the Lord is speaking to me from the heart, we do have to check it from external, you have something from within and without as well. So the external checks are Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, which with the Shastra being the primary one. You check, is it taught in the scriptures? Is it emphasized in scriptures repeatedly? And then is it properly understood contextually? So for context, then you can go to the Guru, who is the spiritual master, Shiksha, Diksha, other gurus. And then sadhus means the society of progressive devotees. So if all 3 are concurring on that and confirm that, yes, you're on the right track with this idea, then we can feel confident that it's not somebody else transmitting on Prabhupada's channel in my heart.
There's also one other source.
The 4th one? Is that
Fool
Bhima
around
Das?
Yeah, the fourth one. Yeah. This is the way
Experience,
I
School
find
of Hard
out. Fool around
Knocks.
and find out. Yes,
Yeah.
School of Hard Knocks. It's a hard knock life. Yeah. When it coincides with what's currently what you're wrestling with, when it coincides, and then you read it in the scripture, and then you got Prabhuji saying, dude, you're in Maya. That's why you're suffering. That's why you're troubled. You're not paying attention to Krishna. This is falling apart because it wasn't aimed at Krishna. And meanwhile, things are falling apart. That's pretty good knowledge. You know, sometimes we have to, or take a look around, observation. Take a look around at the whole world is a giant metaphor. That's why Prabhupada was always going similarly, because everything is a reflection of Krishna's teachings.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Yeah, it's a very rare thing when a Vaishnava will claim that what I'm saying is what Krishna is telling. They usually refer to Shastra more. Shastra says, Prabhupada says, and then when you hear things like I had a revelation, I had a vision, somebody has to be really pure and on a very high level to claim those things. Right? Like Bhima Prabhu says, it's a delicate matter. And the Vaishnava
It's not,
usually refers to
yeah, it's
Shastra.
not a vision. It's not a vision like it's somebody coming to you without an architectural degree or any past portfolio of something that they've been through, done, accomplished, fixed, found solutions for, found the right questions for. Life experience plays a big role. And Krishna will put you through your paces if you are ready to be put through your paces. Marriage is such a thing. You have to learn basically unconditional love. You get a taste of a bit of unconditional love and surrender. You have to surrender to the spouse, whether you're the female or the man or woman. You know, so these things are, we must not neglect keeping our eyes open at all time to hear the echoes of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra all around us in the gurus of material nature.
Thank you. Man, and if something is not clear, then try it. You'll never know unless you try. It's okay to try, right? With a good intention.
Yes, thank you. I just realized the tripod concept, how Shastra, as somebody who doesn't have a guru at the moment, really looking into Shastras, and it's I think it's easier for me to sort of look into Shastra if a philosophy doesn't make sense or if I have a question about philosophy. But I'm just realizing the importance of bringing the Shastras in a practical way to apply my life in personal matters, because I think those are the times when I look to Krishna like, what do I do? And I don't know what to do. So looking at Shastras as words of God that could be practicalized, I think it's maybe important. So thank you.
That's what Srila Prabhupada says. He is in that Shastra. He invested all his love, all his care, all that knowledge in the Shastra. So it's not that it's just Shastra without Guru. Guru and Shastra and Sadhu, those are inseparable things. So you read the Shastra, you read Prabhupada's purport, then he's acting as a guru in your life. Guru doesn't start with Diksha. Starts when you open the pages of the Bhagavatam and read in the right state of mind and discuss. That's Guru is there also. Hare Krishna. Okay, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, please unmute yourself and say Hare Krishna with all your heart, and I will finish the yagya.
Hare Krishna.
Wow, Vijay Krishna Prabhu has a huge heart. Thank you,
We could
Prabhu.
hear you all the way from the Azores. Wonderful. Hey ho. Across
Thank
the
you very
Atlantic.
much.
Hey Krishna.
Thank you very much for having me. This, if I may say it, this group is beyond spectacular. I just love it here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's because of Bhima and his interjections. That's where the credit goes. Okay, Hare Krishna. We love you. We need you. Hari Bol. See you tomorrow.